Welcome to Church for Business People. I'm so glad to see you here this evening. My name is Pastor M. And hey, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're somebody who's passionate about doing business God's way, then this is the place for you. I'm so glad you're here. We are learning about how to do kingdom business, how to do business God's way. And please let us know where you're checking in from. I know we missed an episode last week, and part of the reason is because we had a week of prayer, and so we give that time up to just pray for our business. So I hope you got a chance to catch that. If you have not been able to, if you're joining us for the first time, there's a whole bunch of episodes of Church for Business People that are stored up. Check us out, and you can check them out either on Facebook or YouTube, my personal Facebook or YouTube, or even on Mavuno Church. Great to have you just catch up with what we've been doing. Now, let us know where you're watching from. Hit the share button. Let your friends know about Church for Business People. If you're interested in joining our business community, what's our WhatsApp business community about? It's a space where kingdom entrepreneurs, people who are passionate about doing business God's way, can get to connect, but also get to learn and be inspired to keep doing business the way God wants them to. So let us know about if you're interested in that by just clicking on the link that is below this broadcast right now, and it's going to stay there the whole time that we're doing this broadcast. We always begin with a time of worship, and the reason is because we acknowledge who our King is. If you're in kingdom business, the word kingdom starts with king, and there's always a king. So we always come before the king first, and so let's just do that for a moment and just bring our businesses before him and our lives as well in worship and in praise.
Thank you, Jesus. Oh, the God is suddenly. There's about to be a suddenly in this place. I hear a sound, a mighty sound, the rising of faith. There's about to be a suddenly in this place. I hear a sound, a mighty sound, the rising of faith. There's about to be a suddenly in this place. I hear a sound, a mighty sound, the rising of faith. Even now you are moving. Even now you are moving. Even now you are moving. Even now you are moving.
There's about to be a miracle in this place. See your promise to me, I'm gonna see, and yes, I believe, yeah.
There's about to be a miracle in this place.
When
your promise to me,
I'm gonna see, yes, I believe,
yes, I believe. There's about to be a miracle in this place.
And
your promise to me, I'm gonna see, yes, I believe.
And even now you are healing.
Even now you are healing. Even now you are healing. Even now you are healing. Even now you are healing.
Oh,
even now you are healing. Even now you are healing.
One more.
Even now you are healing. Even now you are healing. Oh, move by your spirit, God. are possible. Here we go.
All things are possible right here, right now.
You say,
All things are possible right here, right now. All things are possible right here, right now. All things
yes,
are possible right here,
right now.
right now. All things are possible right here, right now. Even now you can do it. Even now you can do it.
Even now you
can do it. Even now you can do it. Say even now you can do it. 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 There's about to be a suddenly in this place.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much. That's incredible. What a great way to start. You're watching Church for Business People. My name is Pastor M. Mureithi Wanjao, and just welcoming you to our time. This is really something. I mean, some people have asked me, why do you do Church for Business People? I'll tell you, it came straight out of something I felt God was putting on my heart. And just saying that in this season, we must equip kingdom entrepreneurs. We must equip business people to understand how to do business God's way. So if you're an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, somebody who thinks one day you could be an entrepreneur, this is a space for you. Join our WhatsApp community. There's a link right under this broadcast, and it's a space where you get into a community. It's not a WhatsApp group where you get spammed with messages, but it's a place where you can put in questions, you can get encouragement, you can contribute even to the agenda of the conversations that we have at Church for Business People, but hopefully a space to equip you to become better at doing business God's way. Now, this June, actually starting May and June and kind of July now, we're really walking into this whole kingdom business idea. What is kingdom business? Who is it for? How do we run a kingdom business? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're continuing with our conversation about the 4 distinctives of a kingdom business. But before we do that, something I've been trying to do every week is bring somebody we can interview, who can just bring a different aspect, bring a different voice, a perspective into our conversation. And I had the privilege of interviewing a friend of mine who is passionate about helping people sell their products. He's a sales guru and actually has a consultancy that helps people do that better for their businesses. And so without further ado, please welcome to Church for Business People, Evans Mwangi. Wow, so welcome to a good friend of mine, somebody I've known for many years, and we've been friends, although we haven't kept in touch recently, but just been a fan of this man. He is a sales guru. If you want to learn how to sell, this is the man. And in this season of COVID-19, if there's something we need as entrepreneurs, is to learn how to sell our product, how to deliver that product to our client and the person who needs it. And so I want to just introduce Evans. Maybe Evans, you can tell us a little about yourself. Tell us a bit about your family, your faith, your business. Who are you? Who is this man called Evans?
Well, thank you so much, Pastor M. Evans Mwangi is my name, and it's a pleasure to be here. I mean, it's a pleasure for you to give me this call and host me. And I'm married 16 years now to one lady called Wanja Mwangi, and we have 2 kids, a 12-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl. Wow. And of course, I'm a born-again Christian, been a member of Nairobi Chapel and the bigger Nairobi Chapel community for the last about 21 years. Yeah.
Wow. That's fantastic. Yeah. And tell us a bit about your business and what it is you do for a living.
So I, as a marketing professional and sales and marketing professional, I run a company called Brand Partners Limited. We are a digital marketing and brand management company. And part of what we do, besides helping companies to develop digital content, is to also help them to manage their brands. And that's basically the whole 360 management, 360 degrees management of their brands. Because what we find is that there are you have worked so hard to set up a business, but there's a disconnect between how the market perceives you and how you'd want the market to perceive you. And so what we try and do is to basically merge that, help you to merge that.
Wow. So and digital, what is digital market? You talked a bit about brand management. Yes. Yeah.
So for digital marketing is basically where, in this season where we're living in, we are basically, you find a lot of companies have digital platforms. So they have social media pages, they have websites, but you go to their websites, they're just boring they're not updated. Some of the information is even wrong. Some of them even have products which they no longer produce.
They keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Yes, they keep saying the same thing over and over again. They have staff members who even left. Their sites are not even user-friendly. Then you go to their social media pages and the content doesn't exist. You find somebody posted maybe a year ago, 6 months ago. They are, they pride themselves in being a medium-sized enterprise. But if you look at even the number of people that they're speaking to through their social media pages, they're very few. So we try and help them to develop content for that space, for the whole digital spectrum.
Wow.
So from websites to social, so we do the whole 360 of that.
I love it. So tell us a bit about your story, how you ended up becoming this master salesman that you are. Because I know it started when you were pretty young.
Yes. I think I was hungry. I was, after high school, I figured asking my mom for money was just not adding up. So I just thought, you know what, why can't I start doing something that I can make the money that I want, so that then if I want to go out with my friends, I don't have to go back to mom and ask her for cash.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was to print t-shirts. So I would print t-shirts, and a good friend of mine till today would print for me the t-shirts. And basically I would then go and sell those t-shirts because I knew that I needed a product. For me to get the money I wanted from people, I needed to have a product that we would exchange.
Yeah.
So that I would offer them the product, they would offer me the cash that I wanted.
So how old were you when you did this?
I was 19 years old.
Okay.
I was 19. Yeah. So I started doing that, and there were basically t-shirts that I sold in church. They had all these Bible verses, Nini.
Nice.
And that's how I used to make my pocket money back then.
Yeah. Then I know as you went along, you actually got to work for a company that trained you to do sales. This is when you started working with Britam. Maybe tell us a bit about your career progression. You worked for Britam, and then after that you worked for a few other companies.
Yeah. So what happened is basically before I went to Britam, I started my working career when I joined Nairobi Chapel as an intern in 2001. And so I did my internship in the youth ministry. And at the end of that year, I was told, okay, why don't you come back and help the church raise money? I think we needed 42 million to buy the property that Nairobi Chapel Ngong Road sits on. And so I was told, why don't you come back and help us to raise money for that? So I was employed, I was given a 1-year contract. And so my job was to recruit people to climb Mount Kenya, to get parents to release their kids to do Nairobi. Sunday school kids walking from Nairobi to Thika, teenagers walking from Thika to Narumoro.
So you're basically a fundraising manager, basically.
Yes. And adults climbing the mountain, and all these groups were raising different amounts of money. And so we did that, and basically.
Sorry, I seem to have lost you. Okay. Okay,
so after Nairobi Chapel, and after helping the church raise that money. Then I started selling cars, and that was some sort of transition period. Trying to survive, put food on the table, a roof over my head. Then after which, maybe 2 years later, I joined British American Insurance. And that was a funny one, because how it ended up happening is that I had a friend who was a manager for Britam. And so what I would do is I would keep on giving him these referrals. And so I'll tell him, oh, there's this buddy of mine, he's just gotten a job, you can talk to them. Oh, there's this buddy of mine, he has a new child, you can talk to them. And so they were making money. And so, and all the only thing, I mean, the guy was making money, and then the only thing he was doing was buying me lunch. And so at some point, he started working on convincing me which to join Britam. And when I did that, they gave me the training that I needed. Because yes, I had a big network, but I just didn't have a structured way of selling. So I didn't wake up in the morning knowing I've got these 10 phone calls to make, I've got these 5 people to see, I've got these follow-ups to do. I didn't have any of that. So Britam actually invested in training me and all the other agents. And so I was at Britam for 4 years. And I remember in my first year, I actually hit my sales target for the year. I hit it in 6 months. And so it was immediately doubled. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was when I got into sales proper.
Nice. And then from Britam, I know you went to a couple of...
Britam, I went to Melvin's Tea. I had really admired the guys in the FMCG industry, fast moving consumer goods market. And I always wanted to get into that space. So I went in, I did not have the experience. I just checked into somebody told me that Melvin's Tea were looking for a sales and marketing manager. And I went in for this meeting with the MD. And I managed to convince her that I could actually learn how to sell in that industry, which was completely new. That I could actually figure out how to manage sales teams. I could figure out how to manage distributors and how to grow them.
You sold yourself.
Yes, I sold myself, and I was given the job.
I love it. The power of sales. Yeah. So you're marketing manager there for a while, and then after that you moved to...
Yeah, I was marketing manager there for a year. Then I moved to East African Glassware Mart. Now, those are the guys who distribute Luminac across East Africa. And so I moved there as the group marketing manager, which basically was an opportunity to oversee marketing activities across East Africa. I loved the job, traveled a lot, got to understand how people in Tanzania work, what initiatives work for them, sort of marketing initiatives that make sense for them, the sort of products that actually appeal to them as well. So it was again, basically an amazing school as well.
Wow. I love that. And this has all helped you become the marketer and the salesman that you are today.
Yes.
Because you moved from just a guy who could sell naturally, had networks, to a guy who understands structures.
Yes.
And this is what you help entrepreneurs get. So let me ask a question. I mean, many entrepreneurs are fantastic at producing, and I'm just speaking this from experience. Many people enjoy product creation. You know, we enjoy coming up with the idea, the service, the thought, the solution. We love tinkering with it, making it perfect. Whether it's the book you're writing, whether it's those CDs you're producing, whether it's a film, whether it's the cakes you're baking, whatever it is, that product, the item you're consulting on, we're really good at creating the product. But the place where I find many people struggle is moving that product from here, from my shelf to the consumer's pockets. Why do people struggle so hard? Why is it that people struggle so hard? I mean, it makes us fear entering that space.
I think for starters, I would say it's because we create products that we love. not necessarily products that the market needs.
We create for ourselves, not for
ourselves,
yeah.
not for the market. Because honestly, if you put yourself in the shoes of your market, and you are, let's take a simple example. You're a baker and you love cheese. So you start baking cheesecakes. But how many people are lactose intolerant? How many people can actually afford the cheesecakes that you're making? Because a cheesecake is not going to be cheap. Yeah. So how many people can actually afford it? Is it an item that people can consume daily or even every other day? And yet you're busy telling us the way you want to be in every supermarket in Kenya. So what's the product shelf life as well? So you created for yourself, or you created for your girlfriends or boyfriends, but you didn't create it for the market. You didn't go and ask the market, is this what you're really looking for?
We're passion driven. We're not people driven.
We're not people driven, and unfortunately, you're not creating for you to buy. You're creating for someone else to buy. So why don't you first ask them what they would buy before you create? Yes.
I love that. What about just fear? I mean, how do we deal with fear? Because I mean, there's always like a sense of rejection. People say no to me.
Rejection is real.
And I mean, it's like I've slaved over this thing. Now guys are refusing. I mean, it just sounds so personal. It's so painful.
So, I mean, I like to say that you need to separate yourself from your product. And you need to realize that when people say no to your product, they're not necessarily saying no to you. I mean, unless you are really rude or arrogant or something. But if you are a normal human being and you did a professional presentation of your product, but the consumer said no to it, then you need to realize that one, in as much as you think they need it, they have rejected the product. So the next question then is, why have they rejected the product, and what opportunity exists for you to do business with them in future? Yeah, because if you're able to understand why they said no, you want to sell. Back to the example of the cake, you want to sell to them that cheesecake. You are selling it to Evans. Evans drinks milk, but he doesn't take cheese. Why? Because I react badly to cheese. So even if you come to me with a cheesecake, you want to sell it to me for my 10 o'clock tea in the office, I'll say no, I'll reject it. I can't have it because it basically means I'll be in hospital in a few minutes. Wow. So instead of walking away,
use every no as an opportunity for market research.
Yes.
To understand the people.
Yeah, don't walk away dejected. Ask Evans, okay, so why don't you want to taste my cheesecake? And I'll tell you, because I react to cheese. Yeah. I love cake and tea. That's the reason why I'm the size I am. But but I don't do cheesecake. I don't do cheese. So if you're able to give me banana bread, I will happily buy it. You know. So you've done your research. Now you know. I mean, the minute you go and encounter 10 other people or 20 other people who are happy to buy your banana bread, won't you go and make it? You'll go and make it because you have a market.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you walk away dejected, then you lose an opportunity to carry out the market research and to do future business.
Wow. You know, you're speaking so powerfully here, because what you're saying is you're there to solve people's problems, not yours.
Not yours.
Yours will be solved as you solve others. I really, really like that. So let me just ask, I mean, we're going to come back to you next week, because I mean, this interview is too amazing. We're going to have to do two takes to it. If someone wanted to find out more about your company, I can see Brand Partners 2.0. Is that your social media profile? Is that where to look for you?
That is where to find us. Facebook at Brand Partners 2.0, YouTube Brand Partners 2.0, Twitter the same. That's our social media handle.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Evans. This has been incredible, delightful. I'm going to come back to you. We're going to do part 2 of this interview because we want people to get this. I think this is a time when, if you've feared selling, this is a time you have to overcome that fear and just get out, understand your people, and do what it takes to send your product out there. So thank you so much, and see you in a bit.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow, thank you so much. I mean, it's great. That was part one. Next week, we're going to get deeper into this interview, just getting a little more into how do we become better at selling. You know how it is. I mean, we're great at producing, but many of us really struggle to sell. And in this season, selling is everything. You know, you have to be able to get your product, your service to the people who need it, and then be able to get paid for that. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more from Evans next week. Right now, let me just go we're talking about the 4 distinctives of a kingdom business. That's really what we've been, we started doing a couple of weeks ago. I call them the 4 Ps. It's like your 4-fold bottom line. Many times people just think of money as the bottom line. But I want to tell you that in a kingdom business, you have 4 bottom lines. And that's what we're talking about in this week and probably in the next couple of episodes as well. And so the first one we talked about was purpose. That as a kingdom entrepreneur, your business should not be money driven, should not be fear driven, should not be ego driven, should not be opinion driven, that instead it needs to be kingdom purpose driven. Why did God give you that business? And what does he want you to do with it? That's the first bottom line, is actually achieving the kingdom purpose that your business was built for. And we talked about the fact that means being surrendered to God. That business needs to be surrendered. It needs to be employing godly values. It needs to be financing God's kingdom. If you missed, go to the episode just before this one because it's a beginning of this series about the 4 distinctives of a kingdom business. Now today, and before let me just say, if for that purpose question, the question you need to be asking in your business is, how is my business representing God's agenda? How is God's kingdom agenda advancing because of my business? Every kingdom entrepreneur, that's the first question you must be asking about your business. Now, today we want to look at the second P. And that P, if the first P is purpose, the second is people. People. And you know, one of the things I learned very early on about purpose is that my purpose is never about myself. Purpose is never about me. It's always about others. God's purpose for me is always about blessing others. And that's something you'll always discover about God when you read through the scriptures. That whenever he blessed people, it was so that they could be a blessing to others. There's a great passage, Genesis 12. It talks about a man called Abraham who was blessed by God in a way that many of us would love for God to bless us. And Genesis 12 verse 1-3, it's a powerful promise. It says, I will make you a great nation. This is God speaking to Abraham. And I will bless you. I will make your name great and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the people of the earth will be blessed through you. Now, it's very interesting. I mean, this guy became fabulously wealthy. God gave him resources, huge resources to steward through his lifetime. But I want you to notice that the purpose for these blessings was so that he in turn could become a blessing to others. Blessed to be a blessing. And that's the same for us as well, that we are blessed to be a blessing. The second outcome of a kingdom business is to be a blessing to people. At its core, my business must be about bringing solutions to others. And this is a question. The second question, after asking about the purpose of your business, the second question you must be asking is, who apart from myself is my business blessing? Who apart from myself is my business blessing? I know my business is supposed to bless me. It's supposed to provide my rent. It's supposed to provide my food. It's supposed to provide my it's supposed to give me stuff. But who apart from me is my business blessing? And there's different stakeholders that you need to be looking at and checking out. So 4 stakeholders. The first is your staff. The people who work for you, whether they're full-time or part-time, whether they're casuals, anybody who would work for your company. Do you pay them fairly? Are you investing in them? Have you created some systems to look after their welfare? Are you concerned about them? Do they experience God's nature because of you? Do they say, thank God that my boss is a Christian? Or are they at the place where they know that you're using them to get your agenda done? How will working for you leave them better people? And here I'm talking about not just, hey, this is true for any kingdom person, business or not. The person who works for you in your house. Do they feel like you really are concerned about them as a person and not just using them because you need them to get the job done? So this concern for people, starting with your staff, the people who work for you. By the way, when someone works for me, I try to make sure, even if it's somebody working in my house, I want to make sure that by the time they leave, that they will rejoice that they worked for me. And my biggest joy is even people who worked for us in our house help, years ago, who still text us and who will still call me dad, because when they were in my house, I treated them like my child. I treated them like one of my children. And I think for me, that's a great joy, that I've invested in them so that when they left, they went to start a business. They didn't just go to look for employment like they had with me, that I'm actually working with them to upgrade their skills and to help them become better. So who's working for you right now? And as you make a list of your staff, would they, if somebody was to come to your company and do a casual survey, would the people in your company be saying, we're so excited that this guy is our boss. We're so excited that this lady who's a Christian is our boss. Even the ones who are not Christians would be like, my goodness, it's great to be employed by a Christian. That's the first stakeholder, is your staff members. The second is your suppliers. These are the vendors who supply your business with essential commodities, products and services that will help you to be effective in serving your clients. So these are really an essential part of your business. The people who are constantly will give you either one time or regularly be able to bring you whatever it is, whether it's stationery, whether it's water, whether it's whatever that you pay for regularly. And they are an essential part of your business. Do your suppliers feel blessed to work with your company, or do they feel used and taken advantage of? Would they be shocked if they heard you're a Christian? Would they be shocked if they heard you're a Christian? Would they say something, would they say there's something about that company that made me suspect that girl was a Christian? My goodness, the way we're treated with dignity, the way the accountant doesn't take us around in circles, they're very open and upfront, the way they share with humility and openness to us, we feel valued. I feel valued. I like working with that company. I've met companies, I've talked to people who've told me, my goodness, that's a Christian institution, never supply them with goods, never work with them. They say they're Christian, but the way they treat you in the back office is horrible. And again, it's just one of those things where we're saying, look, this is my testimony as a believer, as a kingdom entrepreneur. Who apart from myself is my business blessing? And we're saying your staff, your suppliers are two of those groups. A third one is your shareholders. These are the people who've invested in or who have a stake in your business. And by the way, one of your very important shareholders, I mean, many people don't think about this when they're talking about shareholders, but one of the most important shareholders in your business is your spouse and your children. That's right. I mean, they have invested in that business. They're freeing you so that you can put in the time that you need to put in that business. Your spouse is your support. Whether they're involved in your business or not, there's something that they're doing. They're handling things at home. They're managing certain things so that you can run that business. They're shareholders as well. I have several friends from the Indian community that I really admire. And one of the things I admire is just their tight-knit culture, family culture, where they work hard, but they also play hard together. On the weekends, you're going to find the guys, I mean, they've been working really hard, but they enter this little car and they'll take off to Thika. They'll go somewhere out of town. They'll go somewhere for lunch, spend the Sunday afternoon relaxing together. And the reason is because, I mean, these guys believe in investing in the family, and they don't just see their children as people passing their home. They see these as future owners of the business. So they're investing in relationship for that reason. It's very unusual. That's not the usual way of thinking for us of African descent. We don't often think like that. And no wonder then our businesses are just one generation wonders. They thrive, and then as soon as the guy goes, the kids are there fighting. And you can probably share more examples than I can about that, of people who left great businesses, but their kids came, they'd never learned to work together. There was no family culture. And as a result, they just tore that thing apart. So how are you investing in your shareholders? How are you investing in the people who have invested in your business? I don't want my partners cussing me as a kingdom entrepreneur. I don't want that. I don't want my kids hating my business because it took me away from them and because they just hated what it made me become. I need to have time for my shareholders. So that's another one just to think about. Who are your shareholders? List them out and just be able to say, are they excited to be partners with me? Do they find me a person of my word? Do they find that they are excited that we are part of this business together? And I mean, that's a great place for you to just begin to do a little evaluation as well. And then your last stakeholder is what I call your shoppers. And the reason I use that word is so I could have 4 S's. But also, I mean, you can use the word customers. So it's your shoppers. We've talked about the 4 being your staff, your suppliers, your shareholders, and your shoppers. So who are your shoppers? These are the people who your business is targeting. These are your clients. These are the people who you have a service or product for them to buy. The question is, what problem are you solving for them that leaves their lives better? How will their lives be better because of you? Are you listening actively to their feedback so that you're constantly adding value back to them? Are you helping their lives get better, or are you just simply using them to make a profit? I mean, that's what your market research is about. It's about going and asking clients, learning from them how they can improve, how you can improve, how you can serve them better, learning to ask the right questions rather than just telling them what you have and what you want them to buy from you. There are many times I've found with people who are selling me stuff that, by goodness, I mean, you see them. Have you ever had that experience, by the way, where somebody wants to sell you a product and you know they want to sell you a product? Maybe it's insurance or some what do they call it, multi-level product. And you see them coming and you want to run the other way. Why? Because you know that they don't really care about solving your problems. They just want to make a living, and they're going to use you to make their living. That's a very different, it's a very bad way for your client, your shopper, to think about you. How about you invest in knowing what their real issues are and figure out how to solve them? I've had a great experience the last week or so. I've been doing a little, constructing a little shack. And it's interesting because the hardware store, the hardware shop, not far from where I was building, the lady who owns it, my goodness, the customer service has been incredible. I mean, it's those ones where it's like, you don't need to come to the shop, just text me, tell me what you want. And at the end of every day, I'll send you your bill, and then tell me when you want to pay it. I mean, she's been so gracious and so helpful that she's become a partner to me. And I actually felt a sadness when the project was ending, because I've enjoyed the conversations, and I've enjoyed. It's like I call and it's like I need this stuff in the first thing in the morning. It's like done. I'll make it happen, and almost become an essential partner. And some of you have you know what I'm talking about. When you have somebody who's serving you and who's such an essential partner in your business, you can almost tell your success is their success. And so how do we become so good at serving our customers and our clients that they no longer see the money they're paying us, they see the service we're giving them? That becomes a thing that they're excited about. So I think this really involves going into the market, understanding what the needs of your clients are, having conversations with them, asking them to rate you, and then taking seriously their feedback. So that they know, I mean, in a sense, even beginning, rather than even starting with my product. I love cakes, so I'm going to make cakes for you. Whether you want them or not, even just asking what do you guys like? What kind of cakes are people eating? Why this kind of cake? How is this valuable for you in this season? Understanding customer needs. So our products are always market driven, or our services are market driven, as opposed to being me driven or me about me. So that, by the way, just this whole thing, the world right now is facing many problems. And I know many of our businesses are facing problems because our customers are not buying. People are struggling financially, and that's the truth. There are problems ahead, and it's probably not going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Let me just say that. And I'm not being a prophet. I think it's just looking at the situation. But whereas many people see the problem and they just vent, I believe that as entrepreneurs, a true entrepreneur sees problems and invents. Problems are actually not a bad thing. Because if I'm experiencing problems, so is everybody else. And it just means whatever problems I'm facing, somebody is facing them as well. And somebody will pay somebody to solve that problem for them. And so how do we begin to position ourselves as problem solvers for others? Problem solvers for others. There are people saying the hospitality industry is completely not functioning right now because of COVID-19. But I know people who own hotels right now that are full. Not because they had guests planned before this, but because they repositioned. And now they're serving as an essential service. They're serving a real need right now. While other people are complaining, they're inventing. People are venting, they're inventing. So how do you solve people's problems through your business? How do you come up with something that is so useful for them? And that's what really people is about. So rather than starting with money, how much money you want to make with your business, start with solutions. How will you so and become so passionate about solutions that people actually can see that hey, my interest is actually to help you get better. I mean, I love that I can solve your problem. And when you're solving people's problems for real, then expect them for them to be willing to pay you for that. So we're gonna be continuing with this. I just want to say, start looking around, open your eyes, see what the problems people are struggling with, list them out. What solutions could your business come up with that will make their lives easier? Instead of venting, invent. Because I believe true entrepreneurs were built for times like this. And the better you get at solving people's problems, the more you will flourish in this season. There's some businesses that COVID-19 is going to propel. They're actually going to become huge, phenomenal, and they were nothing before. And you will know about them after this season. And I want to be one of those people, who didn't just sit back and wait for things to change, but actually looked at the problems people are facing and found out how can we become part of the solution to the problems that people are facing. So next week, we're going to go to the other two P's. I told you this stuff is great. We've talked about purpose. Is your business kingdom purpose driven? Number 2, we've talked about people. Are you there solving? What problems are you solving for people apart from just yourself? Your needs will be solved, will be met as you meet other people's needs. So that's our second one. We're going to look at the third and the fourth P. So we keep it locked for next week. If you haven't joined our WhatsApp community, there's a link below this broadcast. Click on that and join, and let's grow in this journey of being kingdom entrepreneurs together. I want to conclude right now with a prayer for you. Lord, I pray for your people right now as they are watching this. I know they're kingdom business people. I know there are people right now who are thinking about starting a business. I know there are people who are watching here who are running a business that is going through a lot of shaking. I know there's some people right now who are running a business where they're reinventing and beginning to see some fruits as a result. And Lord, I just pray for every single person watching this. I pray that this broadcast would be useful, Lord. Something I've said today, that Lord, you would spark it and bring about real transformation, real hope, real change. And I pray for an encouragement. I pray that this week you would be encouraged in your faith, encouraged in your walk, encouraged to represent God wherever He has placed you. I pray that your customers would thank God for you. The shoppers would thank God for you. Your staff would be excited to work for you as you begin to think and apply the things you're learning. I pray that your suppliers will be so grateful and will be the ones saying that person's a Christian. I pray that, Lord, every single one of those stakeholders, even your shareholders, everybody will be saying, my goodness, I love working with this person, because they can see your integrity, because they can see your desire to serve others and to bring solutions to them. And so I speak blessing over you, God's people, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.